All right, so welcome in our weekly webinar, Market Masterclass with Religare. So in this webinar, we talk about the market performance during the week, followed by our view, how you should plan your strategy for the next week, especially for Nifty, banking index, sectors, and some of these stocks which you can maintain in your market watch list for both long and short trades. राइट सो आप सभी का स्वागत है हमारे वीकली वेबिनार में और इस वेबिनार का पर्पस है नेक्स्ट वीक के लिए प्रिपेयर करना। तो क्या इस हफ्ते हुआ एक शॉर्ट वो बात करके हम सारा फोकस उसी पे करेंगे कि नेक्स्ट वीक क्या एंटिसिपेटेड है व्हेन इट कम्स टू द मार्केट मूव, खासतौर से निफ्टी, बैंकिंग इंडेक्स, सेक्टोरल मूव्स क्या एंटिसिपेटेड है, कौन से स्टॉक्स आपके रडार पे होने चाहिए, ये सब कुछ कवर करने वाले हैं इन नेक्स्ट 20 मिनट्स। We end the session with a quick feedback poll followed by the Q&A session. So for Q&A session, you have this button in front of your screen, that Q&A button. So you can use that to ask your questions once the presentation ends. तो इस presentation के बाद कोई भी सवाल रह जाता है आपका मार्केट से रिलेटेड, कोई सेक्टर से रिलेटेड, कोई थीम से रिलेटेड, तो डेफिनेटली आप Q&A सेशन में पूछ सकते हैं। तो हम कोशिश करेंगे नेक्स्ट आधे घंटे में मैक्सिमम यूटिलाइज करें हम टाइम को और एक कंक्रीट व्यू नेक्स्ट वीक के लिए लेके जाएं। राइट, सो लेट्स स्टार्ट विद अ डिस्क्लेमर दैट इट्स अ informational webinar, it's not a trading or investment recommendation. So before making any decision based on the information shared, please check with your financial advisor. तो जो भी हम बात करने वाले हैं वो informational webinar है ये, तो हमारे जो observations हैं हम उसको शेयर कर रहे हैं, तो इसमें कोई भी ट्रेडिंग और इन्वेस्टमेंट रिकमेंडेशन नहीं है। तो कोई भी डिसीजन लेने से पहले आप जरूर अपने फाइनेंशियल एडवाइजर से बात करें। सो दिस इज द पिक्चर फॉर द वीक, means week after week. This was the fifth successive week where Nifty remained in a range. Most part of the week was lackluster, but finally we could end with gain of roughly around 1.5% each for both Nifty and Sensex. Sectoral front move, as you can see, was mixed. With at one end on the gaining side we have auto, banking, IT, financials, and reality. On the losing side, media, pharma, metals, energy, and FMCG. Now on the Nifty 50 gainers and losers part, trend, strong recovery, M&M, Bharti Airtel, Aisha, and IndusInd Bank. So couple of names from the auto basket and then from the other sectors. At the same time, Tata Motors witnessed pressure. Adani Ports, Bajaj Finance, Dr. Reddy's, Adani Enterprise. So two names from the Adani group of stocks, which were among the top 5 losers in the Nifty 50 space. तो ये जो पूरे वीक को अगर हम बात करें कि एक स्लाइड में कैसे देखना है, तो पांचवा हफ्ता लगातार जहां पे कि हमने कंसोलिडेशन कंटिन्यू होते हुए देखा मार्केट का। 1.5% के गेन क्यों है? क्योंकि आज फ्राइडे के दिन अच्छा क्लोज मार्केट में देखने को मिला। करीब 1.25% ऊपर हम बंद हुए, तो करीब करीब 1.5% से ज्यादा के गेन निफ्टी और सेंसेक्स में इस वीक में क्लोज हो पाए ड्यू टू फ्राइडे सेशन। सेक्टोरल फ्रंट पे दोनों ही साइड पे मूव नजर आ रहे हैं, जो कि काफी टाइम से चल ही रहा है। गेनर लूजर साइड पे भी आपको कोई ट्रेंड नजर नहीं आएगा, जैसे कि लास्ट वीक तक थोड़ा सा आईटी काउंटर्स थोड़ा फ्रंट फुट पे थे, वो थोड़ा सा प्रॉफिट टेकिंग आई। दूसरे नाम फ्रॉम द ऑटो स्पेस और रिटेल, टेलीकॉम, जहां पे की पॉजिटिविटी देखी, वहीं पे नेगेटिव साइड पे भी आपने ऑटो में से ही जो टॉप लूजर्स बना टाटा मोटर्स। सो बेसिकली दिस इज द snapshot. Now let's talk about how we should plan our strategy for the next week. So this is the daily graph which we see every week, and nothing much has changed when it comes to this range, right? This range is something that Nifty has been hovering in, right? And this is today's candle, Friday's move. So what next? So like what we always share, when it comes to a range, until we break, one should not preempt. right? Why I'm saying this? Because this was the session couple of weeks ago on Friday itself, where RBI announced multiple measures to ease liquidity into the system, followed by a gap up start on Monday, but it couldn't sustain. But after this 5 weeks of consolidation and this move, probably we can reattempt this level of 25,200 again. What it means is that usually we see a carryover move if the close is decisive in terms of 1% kind of, or maybe higher kind of gains, uh, on the index. Usually that follows a relatively better session in the coming trading day also. So that may result in 25,200, again a retest of this level. But until we break 25,200, we are not through with this consolidation. So we need to cross and hold above 25,200 to inch toward this 25,600, 800 zone, right? So देखिए, ये पांचवा हफ्ता, जैसे हमने की शुरुआत में भी बात की कि निफ्टी ने स्पेंड कर दिया कंसोलिडेशन में, और पिछले 3 हफ्तों से इंटरेस्टिंगली क्या हो रहा है कि मार्केट फ्राइडे के दिन एक स्ट्रॉन्ग मूव देता है, डायरेक्शनल मूव देता है, और उसके बाद नेक्स्ट वीक वो कंटिन्यू नहीं हो रहा है. यूजुअली वो होना चाहिए, जैसे कि 2 वीक पहले का एग्जांपल अभी मैंने बताया. तो इस बार भी 25,200 टेस्ट की पॉसिबिलिटी नो डाउट, क्योंकि अब तो थोड़ा सा ही मार्जिनली रह गया है, तो ज्यादा दूर है नहीं हम 25,200 के मार्क से. बट उसके ऊपर जाके सस्टेन करना वो निफ्टी के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट होगा. तब जाके आप 25,600, 25,800 की जब बात हम पहले कर रहे थे, वो फिर से हो पाएगा. कमिंग टू द सपोर्ट, so this earlier we were talking about 24,400 and 24,000, right? But now at least this swing low close to 24,700 is something that Nifty should defend first, and then probably the lower band of this consolidation range around 24,400, 450, right? In case of decline, 24,700 is critical. Means in case if let's say Nifty again spend some time around consolidation but didn't breach 24,700, that it's going to be positive. Then probably we can see sooner or later a breakout above 25,200. But in case if it breaches this level, then probably again a retest and then further consolidation, right? So as of now, bullish, but slightly with the cautious approach, considering the past trend that we observed on last 2 Fridays, right? More importantly, the stock selections become critical in a market like this, where index is under consolidation, mid cap and small cap are also witnessing profit taking. So earlier we were seeing that while the index was consolidating, mid cap and small cap were doing well. So that's why participants were not bothered much about index into a consolidation range. But the moment, means from the last couple of weeks, we started seeing correction in the mid cap and small cap. It started impacting the sentiments overall also. So here, as of now, since we are still in the range, maintain positive, we had cautious stance. 24,700 is something that you should keep in mind. If it breaks, then probably again we are set for the consolidation for yet another painful week. Otherwise, we are set for a 25,600 or maybe higher levels, right? So this is how you should plan, but focus should be on the sectors and themes which are showing relatively higher strength. So we'll talk about that in detail. First, let's talk about the other sector. देखिए, इसमें तो हमने बात कर ली कि आपको जब तक 24,700 होल्ड हो रहा है तब तक पॉजिटिव रखिए व्यू को. नो डाउट पहले भी ब्रेक हुआ है, सस्टेन नहीं हुआ है, बट रिस्पेक्ट करना पड़ेगा लेवल्स को. और अभी के इंडिकेशन तो ये है कि इस बार शायद अटेम्प्ट हो, 25,200 को क्रॉस करने का अटेम्प्ट हो, बिकॉज बैंकिंग, आईटी ये सभी अलाइंड है. सो लेट्स सी किस तरीके से चीजें पैन आउट होती हैं, बट अभी के लिए स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक रहिए, पॉजिटिव साइड पे फोकस रखना है. दिस इज बैंकिंग. right? So banking is also like, not giving any clues over the next directional move, because post this breakout, then this failure, then again a very tight range consolidation followed by a rebound. So again, it's not a very decisive, clear structure that one can pinpoint that yes, it looks strong or weak. Strong, I would say yes, because we are still hovering around this yellow line, this 20 EMA. So in a way, it is strong. If you are not declining and just spending time in a tight range, it is strength. But for momentum, this was the perfect zone for momentum. This cannot be an area from where Nifty can see a very decisive, Bank Nifty can see a very decisive and strong directional of move. It should form some pattern, some consolidation, then only we can see that. But gradually, 57,000, this area is something that might act as a hurdle, and then around 58,200. As of now, the recent swing low close to around 55,000 is something that you should maintain as the make or break area. So just like Nifty 24,700, for banking it is 55,000. Until we break that, probably we can gradually inch toward 57,000, 58,200 in the coming days. The good part is finally we have started seeing some traction in the private banking names. Means HDFC, ICICI, they were completely on the back foot in this rally. If you exclude a couple of days, there was hardly any participation from the ICICI or HDFC, which are the top two names from the banking basket. But now they have started showing some participation. Axis, ICICI, Kotak, HDFC, they all are aligned now. So probably we can gradually inch towards positive towards 57,000, 58,200 in the coming days. क्लियर? तो देखिए यहाँ पे जो पॉजिटिविटी, जो स्ट्रेंथ यहाँ पे थी, वो यहाँ नहीं है अभी. बिकॉज जब आप फर्स्ट ब्रेक पे ही आप मोमेंटम देखते हो तो उसकी एक इम्पोर्टेंस अलग होती है. उसके बाद जो फिजल आउट हो जाए, उसके बाद दोबारा से बेस फॉर्म हो, तो उतना स्ट्रेंथ ला पाना थोड़ा सा मुश्किल होता है. बट अच्छी चीज ये है कि प्राइवेट बैंकिंग मेजर्स जो कि साइडलाइंस पे थे, खासतौर से आईसीआईसीआई, एचडीएफसी, वहां पे पार्टिसिपेशन दिख रहा है. कोटक, एक्सिस पहले से ही अच्छा कर रहे हैं. स्टेबिलिटी दिख रही है इंडसइंड बैंक में, जो कि पहले नेगेटिव ट्रेड कर रहा था. तो ये सारे साइन पॉजिटिव हैं कि बैंकिंग में पोटेंशियल है कि ग्रेजुअली दोबारा से अपने 57,000 के हाइस के पास जाए और फिर 58,200 तक के लेवल भी टेस्ट हो जाए. वहीं पे नीचे पे 55,000 को ध्यान रखना है. जब तक कि 55,000 होल्ड हो रहा है, तब तक पॉजिटिव टोन को मेंटेन करके चलना है बैंकिंग में. राइट नाउ this is about the indices. Stocks, since we were seeing that banking looks promising, so Kotak from that list. So Kotak, we were here, initially when we discussed about this stock, post breakout from this declining trend or corrective phase. After this strong move, there was a pullback towards the short-term averages on the weekly chart, followed by this buying pivot formation, and now the follow-up move. Right, so this indicates that this positive move or recovery trend would continue, and it can gradually inch towards newer highs. तो देखिए कोटक, जैसे कि हम बैंकिंग की बात कर रहे हैं कि अगर 57,000 जाना है तो प्राइवेट बैंकिंग मेजर्स की तरफ सपोर्ट चाहिए. और कोटक और एक्सिस पहले से अच्छा कर रहे हैं. आईसीआईसीआई, एचडीएफसी में पार्टिसिपेशन आ रहा है. तो कोटक में जिस तरीके से अभी एक डिप के बाद थोड़ा टाइम स्पेंड किया, थोड़ा सा रेंज बाउंड हुआ और उसके बाद जो रिकवरी आ रही है, इससे ये दिख रहा है कि ये सेट है फॉर द नेक्स्ट लेग ऑफ द अप मूव रिकवरी के लिए. तो यहाँ से दोबारा से एक नए हाई की तरफ बढ़ता हुआ आपको नजर आ सकता है कोटक. तो इस पे आप ध्यान रख सकते हैं फॉर द लॉन्ग ट्रेड्स. M&M, see the auto basket and private banking and include realty also to that list. which looks most promising for the next week. And within the auto basket, M&M is one such name. It's been almost a year-long consolidation phase, right? And after spending almost 5-6 weeks around the upper band of this, it's set to make a attempt to end this phase and inch towards a newer high. So this is something that one should focus on, where the risk to reward is favorable, means we have very strong support base built around this 31,000, 3,100, 3,000 zone. And once we break this previous highs close to around 3,200, 3,250 zone, then a new trajectory starts. देखिए, एक साल पूरा स्पेंड कर दिया है एमएनएम ने इस रेंज में. ये रेंज क्या थी? ये 2500 से लेकर करीब 3200 तक की एक रेंज. अब पिछले करीब 4-5 हफ्तों से एक रिकवरी के बाद, जब लोअर बैंड को टेस्ट करने के बाद, इसने अपने अपर बैंड के पास एक ये बेस बनाया है. तो पॉसिबिलिटी ये हो सकती है कि इस बार ये इस रेंज को ब्रेक करे और नए हाइस की तरफ बढ़े. तो एमएनएम पे ध्यान रख सकते हैं आप फॉर लॉन्ग ट्रेड्स. सो this is about M&M. Next, like what we've shared at the beginning, that last 2 Fridays, one was very positive, the other was negative, means we've tested the lower band of the consolidation around 24,450, 500 last week. And this week again on a positive note. But is it going to hold? We'll come to know about it next week. But at the same time, one should be prepared in case if it fails to hold. Means where to look for shorting opportunity in case if Nifty fails to cross 25,200 and again witness some correction. So Lupin is named from the pharma basket. So as you can see, a very clear and decisive uptrend followed by this retracement cycle, right? So after retesting the trendline hurdle and multiple attempts to cross the short-term averages on the weekly chart, it has formed a fresh shorting pivot. So probably it can remain sideways or inch lower. Possibility of a decisive move seems unlikely, so it's probably likely to underperform and offer you shorting opportunity. तो देखिए, लुपिन जो लास्ट स्टॉक है हमारी लिस्ट में, कि जैसे हमने पहले भी बात की कि 5वां हफ्ता था ये हमारा कंसोलिडेशन का इंडेक्स में, और 25,200 को क्रॉस करने की हम बात कर रहे हैं, और आज से नहीं कर रहे हैं, बहुत टाइम पहले से ही बात कर रहे हैं कि 25,200 क्रॉस होना चाहिए, तब जाके 25,600 और 800 वाला जोन आएगा. अब दोबारा से उस नजदीक पहुंच गए हैं, तो क्या वो ब्रेक होगा नहीं होगा हम किसी को नहीं पता है. तो प्रिपेयर ऐसे होना है कि व्हाट इफ अगर नहीं होता है तो कोई शॉर्टिंग के लिए भी आपके पास अपॉर्चुनिटी होनी चाहिए. तो यहाँ पे जो वीकनेस दिख रही है लिपिन में, एचयूएल में, ये कुछ एक ऐसे काउंटर है जहाँ पे अंडर परफॉर्मेंस कंटिन्यू रह सकती है. तो जैसे आप देख पा रहे हैं कि ये दो लाइंस, डिक्लाइनिंग लाइंस जो फॉर्म हो रही है, इससे दिखाया है कि ऊपर जितनी बार ये उस लाइन के पास जा रहा है उतनी बार इसको रेजिस्टेंस फेस कर रहा है, मींस वहां पे सेलर्स आ रहे हैं बेचने के लिए. और इस हफ्ते की क्लोजिंग के इंडिकेशन ये है कि प्रेशर बढ़ेगा, या तो ये नीचे जाएगा या फिर ये रेंज में ही रहेगा. ऊपर बढ़ने के चांसेस कम लग रहे हैं. तो मार्केट में अगर शॉर्टिंग अपॉर्चुनिटी आएगी तो हो सकता है कि यहाँ पे गिरावट आपको ठीक ठाक देखने को मिल जाए, तो एक शॉर्टिंग अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल सकती है यहाँ पे, राइट. सो this is all from the presentation part. Just to sum it up, 24,700, 55,000 are the key areas to look out in Nifty for the next week. Until we break this mark, the tone is likely to remain positive. But for momentum, we need to cross 25,200 in Nifty, right? On the stock specific front, we talked about two names from the positive side, Kotak and M&M, and Lupin, which look weak to us. तो पूरे इसका जो अगर हम बात करें अपने इंटरेक्शन का जो सार, कि 24,700 और 55,000 जब तक ये होल्ड है तब तक पॉसिबिलिटी रहेगी कि मार्केट पॉजिटिव जो फ्राइडे के दिन हमने देखी है पॉजिटिविटी वो कंटिन्यू रखे. बीच बीच में पॉज हो सकता है. बट जो मोमेंटम आएगा मार्केट में, जो तेजी आएगी, जिसे एक क्लियर डायरेक्शनल मिले 25,600 800 तक के लिए, वो 25,200 के ऊपर ही आएगी। इस बीच में आपको स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक ज्यादा रहने की जरूरत है। जहां पे स्ट्रेंथ दिख रही है कोटक एमएनएम की पॉजिटिव साइड पे फ्रॉम द प्राइवेट बैंकिंग एंड ऑटो स्पेस, वहीं पे लुपिन जहां पे की अंडर परफॉर्मेंस हो सकती है इन द कमिंग वीक। Right, so this is all from the presentation part. So let's do a quick feedback poll, and then we can start with the Q&A session. So please fill in your feedback, and then you can start posting your questions using that Q&A button. Please quickly fill this feedback so that we can start with the Q&A. And those who are done with it, please use that Q&A button. जो Q&A button है आपकी स्क्रीन पे, जहाँ पे Q and A करके लिखा होगा, क्वेश्चन मार्क का साइन, उसको आप प्रेस करेंगे तो उसको प्रेस करने के बाद एक विंडो खुलेगा। उस पर आप अपना सवाल लिखकर पूछ सकते हैं। तो कोई भी सवाल किसी पर्टिकुलर सेक्टर से रिलेटेड है, स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक क्वेरीज हम यूजुअली अवॉइड करते हैं, अदरवाइज सेशन कभी एंड ही नहीं होगा। तो कोशिश करिए कि सेक्टर स्पेसिफिक कोई सवाल है, सो दैट कि वो सभी को बेनिफिट करे और ये टाइम पे भी अपना खत्म हो सेशन। Right, we are almost done with the feedback, so let's start with the Q&A now. Okay. Stock specific queries. Okay, first questions from Snehesh from IT sector. So yes, Snehesh, IT looks positive. It's just that this week was a week of breather or a pause in IT. Let's see where we closed. Yeah, still 1% kind of a gains in IT index. What what I see now is, for the Nifty IT, you can in fact write down somewhere, just like for Nifty and banking index, 40,000 is going to be the key hurdle, or in fact a close above, weekly close above 39,400 would also suffice a decisive positive or recovery, or yeah, I would rather say recovery is not going to be outrightly bullish, recovery trend in the IT pack. So IT looks positive. Within the IT space, look for stocks which are showing strength. What it means is that they are either trading in line with the index or outperforming the index. So just to give you an example, HCL Tech, so index was up 1.5% during the week. HCL was up 2.5%. So this clearly shows outperformance from HCL Tech. At the same time, let's see where TCS closed. So TCS was down 0.5%. So this clearly shows underperformance. So we should avoid underperformers when we are playing recovery or otherwise also. Right? So hope it answers your query. Thank you, Mr. VS, for a very detailed feedback. And I really appreciate that what you have mentioned, that it's to the point, and it's useful for you. So thank you so much for your feedback. Okay. Okay, next we have Benjamin on defense sector. So yes, we all know that nowadays, when it comes to wars, it seems like one war's end and the other starts. So it started with Russia, Ukraine, then there was a short conflict. uh, with Pakistan, India, Pakistan, and then now this Iran Israel war. So defense definitely as a theme has more takers, but again, don't forget the uh, lessons that we learned last time. Means we all know the kind of buoyancy and surge that most of the defense stocks experienced uh, you know in a prior leg last year, followed by a very sharp correction, right? 50-60% kind of a correction from the record highs. Again, they are up like anything. Most of the stocks are at their record highs or inching towards the same. So if you are chasing momentum, I always say this, during this presentation and otherwise also, if you are chasing momentum, if in you know where your stop loss is, then you are okay. But if you are just chasing a theme basis that there's some war going on and that might result in ongoing trend, so that is not a reality. Sooner or later, all these things subsides, and then reality pitches in, and we see the correction or stabilization in the stock prices. Of late, in fact, this week itself, we were seeing that most of the defense names, they were under pressure or trading sideways. So it's not that outrightly they are bearish or having a negative view in the defense, but after such a phenomenal move, week after week, it is very difficult to maintain such momentum. So be very strict with your stop losses if you are trading, defense stocks. Again, similar to the example which we shared about IT, within the sector, which stock is looking uh, relatively higher strength. So like BEL, which is again quoting at its record high, right? Then the other names like BDL, where we are not seeing any major decline. So be very selective, in this space also, because there is a possibility that you might continue to see some of these stocks going up, but at the same time, there will be correction in the other names. So be selective and be strict with your stop losses. So hope it answers your query. Okay, next we have Lalit Kumar ji on semiconductor sector. So basically, Mr. Patil, the challenge is that this theory related to semiconductor, EV, renewable, let's keep on, coming back to the markets, but the kind of time horizon, or I would rather say that the kind of environment that the sector needs to actually showcase results will take time. So in very short term, we are not going to see any major traction, and there is no any particular company which is completely into this. So all companies, in this space, they are trying to build their capacity and all in JVs with the other, conglomerates. So as of now, it's not a great strategy that you invest and sit. If your view is, let's say, 4-5 years, then definitely it's a different story. But if you are looking for short term, week, 10 days, month, 2 month, then it's not the right time to look for investment in this space. Okay. Financial sector view by 2030. So obviously, 5-year view is very difficult. Means we can only talk about 1 year, 2 year time kind of a time horizon with some certainty, because we have certain data pointers in front of us which talks about the scenario. Obviously, since we are seeing the economic landscape also changing rapidly. Financial as a sector, at least in the last 1 decade, has played a very critical role in market and otherwise also. There is no doubt about it. And will there be any new entrant who will be leading, from the front in the next 4 5 years? That seems unlikely. Means financial will continue to be a key pillar, considering the kind of steps that we have seen both from the government and the Apex Bank to strengthen the economy and to expedite the growth. So definitely it looks positive, but one needs to be selective. It's not that if the sector is going to go up, all these stocks are likely to go up or perform well. Because if you go back and see in past also, you'll continue to find a list of underperformers during the up cycles in any particular sector. So the overall outlooks definitely looks positive, considering the present scenario, at least for 1 year. And then probably one should review his strategy after 1 year, how this overall economy is placed, and then keep on revising your estimates. As of now, definitely the view looks positive to us. Okay, so there's a query on banks. Obviously, we'll try to answer once we are done with the sector specific query. And next we have Mr. Manoj Pandey on power sectors. So energy as a basket, power, including that space. Last week we also talked about that selectively we are seeing some participation or the other on the rotational basis, but it's not a very decisive trend that we are seeing in energy space. So what it means is that energy might continue to underperform in the near future. Selectively, like the refiners like ONGC Oil India, they may continue to do well because crude is, holding strong after this recent up move. But the other basket, one needs to be selective. So power for a time being now is something that one can look to avoid. Okay. Okay. Some of these stock specific queries. All right. So we'll answer a few stock specific queries on a sectoral, tone. So first we'll start with the, REC, means the recent move in the power financiers stocks. It's a very not a very decisive, I would rather say, but yes, kind of a relief during the corrective trend. But in comparison to PFC, REC looks comparatively weaker. So, in my opinion, one should refrain from any aggressive longs in REC at current levels. And PFC looks comparatively better structure if you are planning any investments, gradual investment for at least 3 to 6 months of time horizon. Hind Zinc, it was in news for some, I guess, promoter reducing stake and all. That's why we saw this decline, a sharp decline. And after this correction, we are closer to the support. So probably this zone 425, 430 should hold. And we may see some recovery or rebound towards 455, 460 area. So around that area, one can look to reduce its position because it's likely to remain in a range with sideways to negative bias. Okay, Sun Pharma, see, like pharma as a basket, Lupin, Sun Pharma are looking sideways to negative to us. At the same time, Divis, Dr. Reddy's, Biocon, they're comparatively better structures. So within the pharma space, avoid any aggressive longs in Sun Pharma for a time being now. Metal as a basket, we are again seeing mixed trend where Vedanta, after testing its crucial support around 435, 438 area, we saw some bounce today. So which may result in further recovery towards 465, 470 in coming days. So in case if you have any existing position, 435 should be a closing stop loss and use recovery towards 465, 470 to reduce your position or to book profits. Okay, Equitas Small Finance Bank. Equitas is underperforming, so please refrain from any fresh position. And okay, you have existing trade. So maintain stop at 62. In case if it sees any bounce towards 68, 69, please exit. So with this, we have answered these stock specific queries also. Yeah. So IndusInd Bank from the banking space, basically. So this bank, at least now we are not hearing anything negative from sometime now. So which is in a way is a positive news. And but talking about the preference, I still prefer to stay away from IndusInd Bank when we have opportunity across the private banking majors like Kotak, Axis, HDFC, ICICI, and then from the PSU basket also like Indian Bank, Union Bank, and others. So if you are playing momentum just for a day or two, that is different story, and you are very strict with your stop losses, then only you should plan. Otherwise, stick with the other names. So yeah, with this, okay. So aviation, okay, is a new query from Manoj. Aviation, see, we only have two names listed: Space, SpiceJet, and Indigo. So obviously, Indigo, in case if you see any dip, and the view is long term, definitely you can utilize the recent corrective phase to accumulate. There's no doubt about it. SpiceJet, please tell me. Okay, Mr. Rajesh Lal has this question that whether we should look for fresh purchase, citing the ongoing conflict, or whether we should wait. So again, Mr. Lal, what we have shared about the overall scenario, that we cannot pinpoint the time this conflict is going to end, or how the market is going to react to that, or whether we will see any major dent to our markets. In fact, if this escalate, provided that the crude remain around the current levels, let's say 75, 78, and then gradually inch lower. So instead of focusing on the external aspects, focus on the internal aspects more. Means look for the sectors which are showing strength amid all this chaos. So stock from private banking and auto space, some of the stocks from the telecom basket like Bharti Airtel, Industar, they are showing noticeable strength amid all these challenges. So instead of waiting for clarity that how and when is going to end, selectively you can continue to participate with strict stop losses in place. So hope it answers your query. We have more stock specific queries. So I would request, in case if you are associated with us with Religare, you can share your queries uh, with your branches, with your business partners, and they can reach out to us if you are a client. Otherwise, you know, uh, we can communicate in the next webinar in case if something on this particular sectors, continue to interest you in the coming week as well. But next week is going to be different because it's the last Friday of the month. So we plan our monthly rollover webinar. But for the market view and other things, we record a short video in Hindi and post it on our social channel, Religare online social channels. So you can go there and watch the video in next week also. And इस week का एक ये इस वेबिनार का भी एक समरी हम एक हिंदी में जो रिकॉर्ड करते हैं वो आप अपने सोशल चैनल पे जाकर, रेलिगेयर के सोशल चैनल पे जाके देख सकते हैं. So with this, we end the session. Thank you everyone for participating. We'll connect next live on 4th of July.